Welcome, family. Welcome back to another episode of the Thriving Diabetic Mom broadcast. I am your host, Candyce Jenkins, also known as the Diabetic Mom Coach. And as you can see, I've got a super special guest with me today. We have Nykkia Sellers. She's a diabetes nurse practitioner, but I'm going to allow her to introduce herself and we're going to get into the topic today. So, Nykkia, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me and for inviting me. I am Nykkia Sellers. I am a doctorally prepared nurse practitioner. I'm also a certified diabetes care and education specialist, and I'm board certified in advanced diabetes management. And most of all, I'm a mommy as well. So I'm so happy that you invited me to talk about two things that I'm very passionate about: being a mom. I have a 7-year-old and also diabetes. I love educating people about diabetes and managing people living with diabetes, managing adults living with diabetes. Let me say that.
Wonderful, wonderful. It was so nice to meet Nykkia. Nykkia and I met, I guess about a month ago now, and we just hit it off. And I said, you got to come on the broadcast and share with the audience. So thank you so much. We're going to be talking about balancing diabetes and mom life. Nykkia is going to give us some tips on how we can lower our A1Cs, whether for ourselves or our children. So, Nykkia, I know that you work with diabetics all day, every day. And I'm sure many women that come into your clinic are trying to lower their A1C. I mean, like we all are, right?
Right.
So, what are some tips that you can give us on just ways that we can lower our A1Cs? Of course, we're dealing with busy mom life and taking care of the kids, and everything's crazy. What can we do to lower our A1C?
So, as being a mom, we wear so many hats. We take
Yeah.
care of everyone. And so often we don't have time to take care of ourselves. So, that's one of the first things people with diabetes, women with diabetes, we need to focus on ourselves or
Yes.
themselves or so. Because I don't have diabetes, but again, I love taking care of people who do have diabetes.
Yeah.
And so, people with diabetes, especially women, are at higher risk for things like heart disease, also depression. You're at higher risk for things like blindness. So, one important thing is, I would say, self care.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that we're taking care of our mental health and our physical health. So, ways to incorporate some self care would be, healthy eating. And, if you're on the go, most of the time, if you don't have time like to prepare your own food, you may pick up something quick.
Mhm.
So if you're picking up something quick, like at a fast food place or so, maybe instead of going for like the fries with your meals, maybe go for like a salad or so,
Mm.
or water instead of like the soda. Even if the soda's included, maybe just say, can I have a bottle of water? So also taking the time to incorporate some type of physical activity,
Mm.
even if it's like a short walk, that's good for our mental health as well.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
also people with diabetes, um, sometimes people, especially with type 2, may have obesity or may be overweight. So that's a good thing too, to get your weight down, because that
Yeah.
lowers the A1C too, as well as, again, the physical activity. And so when you exercise, it helps like with the insulin resistance, and it also helps to get your blood sugar lower, get your blood sugar from out of the bloodstream into your body cells. So
Yeah.
if you can incorporate, like, maybe even doing a family thing, walking
Mhm.
around somewhere, walking around your neighborhood, incorporate your family, incorporate your child. Like, say, let's do this like little scavenger hunt. Let's walk around the neighborhood. Let's see if we can see a red truck, see a bird or something like that. Ways to
Yes.
incorporate physical activity. And then also, it's so easy to say, limit your stress. That's so easy to say,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
that's something that we all need to do, and find ways that you can do that. If it's like
Mhm.
yoga, if it's going to get your hair done, going to get your nails done, something that is just good for you.
Yeah, yeah. Nykkia, I love that you started off by saying, the first thing that you do is take care of you. I talk to you about the Thrive system that I teach other moms. And a big component of the Thrive system is prioritizing your own self care as a mom.
Mhm.
It's moms with diabetes are no different than any other moms. We usually tend to put our kids first. But I love how
Yeah.
you said first, you need to take care of yourself so that
Yeah.
you can be a better mom for your kids. And
Yeah.
even like you said, incorporate the kids. So when
Mhm.
you do those things for yourself, you're actually teaching them
Yeah.
how to live a healthy lifestyle. I love that.
Yeah. Because, even when we like fly and all that, the stewardess or flight attendant always say, put your own
Yes,
ear device or whatever. I don't know the
yes,
correct term on before you help, your child. And so
yes,
your
yes,
child needs to see a thriving mom. Your
yes,
child needs to see a happy mom.
yes,
So, they feed off our energy. They can tell, you know.
yes,
So if they see us happy, and that makes them happy and would want to do well as well. So yeah, we have to take care of ourselves for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. That's so funny. I'm thinking about, I know you have a son, so you might not be able to relate. But when I have like a little attitude, my daughter will be walking around here with her little attitude too. And I'm like, excuse me, but she probably got it from
Well,
me.
well, he doesn't necessarily have a little attitude, but my husband definitely says he has my mouth. Like, he questions everything.
Yes.
He has to say everything. He has to get the last word. And I'm like, you cannot do this. You cannot do this to me or any adult. So no, I get it. And my husband said it's straight from me.
Yep, yep, yep.
My
He's like,
friends too.
I love it. I love it. So let me ask you this, Nykkia, also, just about, lowering your A1C, and I love how your title is like the balance of it all.
Mhm.
And I tell moms a lot of times that are looking for that balance, and I'm like in life, and I say that balance is so important. What I've even found is sometimes even the balance can mean like when to dip and when to,
Yeah.
it's like a flow,
Yeah.
um, in addition to a balance. So can you talk about that a little bit, like just that whole balancing part, and like how we as moms with diabetes, and even some of our moms here are caring for a child with diabetes.
Mhm.
So, what can she do to find the balance, even when she's kind of caring for her child with diabetes?
So that's a very good question, and I'm so glad that we did, come up with this topic and everything because we
Yes.
do need to find a balance. And so, just like with diabetes care or any type of care, things have to be individualized. So I think the person really has to focus and prioritize what they feel is most important far as balancing their lifestyle, because we all have different lifestyles and have different avenues that we're going through. And then, just like you said, some people on that are on the stream or they may see it later,
Hmm.
maybe in different stages of life. They could be people, not only women taking care of their kids with diabetes or women with diabetes. It could be someone who has been told they have pre-diabetes,
Mm.
or someone with gestational diabetes. And one thing I want to say, this is kind of getting off topic, but if you, not off topic, but still concerned around women, if you do have gestational or been diagnosed with gestational diabetes, it's always important to make sure that you're getting screened, like for type 2 diabetes and everything, making
Yes.
sure of that.
Yeah.
So back to balancing. So if you can just find, like, if you have a certain hobby that you like to do, then that goes along with stress. So you may work like a 9 to 5 or so, or create your own hours, and then maybe set aside some time to say, okay, I'm going to read this book. This help eliminate some stress. Or
Yeah.
I'm going to set aside 10 minutes doing my favorite show. I'm going to do some type of physical activity. Even they have now, where I've seen those like bikes where you can do a workstation or so, where you
Yeah,
can
I've seen
do your
those
feet.
too.
So that's way to balance. Also taking some time and just maybe going on a vacation,
Yeah.
even if it's something where you take your children, and far as with moms with children with diabetes, that can be very stressful at times, I'm sure, especially when there's different times where your blood sugars may be elevated, your child may be sick, and that comes with a whole different other set of, like, watching out for making sure no ketones, make sure that your child's not going into DKA and things like that. Now,
Hmm.
I am adults. My practice that I have is for adults, but I do know that I'm sure it can be very challenging for moms with children with diabetes. So even, when your child, is faced with some challenges that diabetes may occur, still reward them, give them some kind of, like positivity, even with your children. That'll help you as well. When your children are happy, you're happy. When mom is
Yes.
happy, children are happy. So even moms with children with diabetes, find something that you all can enjoy, and then
Yeah.
also find something that you can enjoy by yourself.
Yes. I love that. Yes. And something like you mentioned, like a hobby too. I think I told you, but I was 11 when I was diagnosed. And so I
Mhm,
went and lived with diabetes as a child. And, one thing that I like to tell parents is like, your child isn't just a diagnosis. They're not just diabetes, but rather than a child that has diabetes. So
mhm,
finding a hobby or something that they like to do outside of diabetes and something that just focuses on them, like I just I try to share that message as much as
mhm,
possible, with moms who are trying to find that balance. And as moms, we just think that we're going to do whatever we have to do for our kids. And some of the, I was talking with a client actually yesterday, and we talked about this may be a little off topic, so my apologies. But we were
mhm.
talking about being that helicopter parent. Like
Yeah.
she's like, I constantly have to, I can't sleep, I can't do anything because I'm constantly worried about my child's diabetes. I'm chasing
Yeah.
the blood sugars,
Yeah.
and I'm just making sure that everything's okay, they're eating right. And I'm
Mhm,
like, but you don't realize the mental
mhm.
strain that's causing on you. And so, like you said, Nykkia, how can a mom in that situation kind of free herself?
Mhm.
And, I think it's like you said, just about finding the balance. And diabetes is not going to be perfect. It's
No.
never going to be perfect because we're not perfect people.
Right.
And to be able to allow that space and hold space for that imperfection, I think that that's
Mhm.
really important too.
And I smile because you just said something that I was going to say is one of the tips for us lowering your A1C. So what you just said wasn't off topic because um, we need sleep. So we need this sleep. We need at least 7 to 8 hours a day of sleep. Either way, we can get that in. That also helps to protect the heart, also, protects again that mental stability and everything as well. So sleep is very important, believe it or not, for helping to lower your A1C. If you can find a good sleep regimen, even if you find yourself making sure you cut off all your devices before, a certain time, making sure you don't well drink certain things, like caffeinated drinks, recaffeinated drinks or anything before bedtime.
Yeah.
Make sure you're not eating super late before bed and then going to sleep, so you can get that good healthy sleep regimen in, because believe it or not, that will help lower your A1C. Because when the body is stressed from
Yeah.
not having any sleep or fatigue, that causes hormonal changes. It causes cortisol levels to go up, and it causes your blood sugar to go up, which in turn increases the time in range, or
Yeah.
decreases the time in range, excuse me, but increases your blood sugar and increases the A1C. So sleep is very important. And then
Yeah.
we also have to think about, like, we're moms, and so like you have to think about things that can be of pleasure.
Mm.
So, and hopefully, moms joining this are of age. And so you have to also think about sexual health.
Mhm.
So women with diabetes are at increased risk for having like urinary tract infections, and
Mm.
increased risk for having like um, yeast infections or so. And
Yeah.
also you can have decreased sexual drive, which because of the diabetes, nerve endings, may not have enough blood flow. So you want to think about things that, intimacy. Maybe you and your partner can do some things that will help with physical activity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alleviate stress. So
Yeah.
all those things too. I think that's a good tip
Yes.
as well for trying to balance this mom life and diabetes.
Absolutely.
We have to think about the whole entire person,
The
all
person.
the
Oh,
needs of that person, so we
yes.
can say, the things that are clear:
Yes.
healthy eating, decreasing the amount of carbs that you may eat, decreasing sugary beverages, increasing your physical activity. It's recommended to do like 150 minutes a week or some
Yeah.
type of physical activity, but we
Mhm.
don't often talk about other things, far as like sleep and sexual health. So those are some things that will also help, to lower the blood sugar range.
I love that. I love that you mentioned that. It can become so taboo in our community to talk about things like that, but it's so real. And
Yeah.
this platform is all about being real. And
Yeah,
we want to get to what really matters to women
for
because we're
sure.
really looking for, for real change and not just kind of lip service. So I wanted to thank
Right.
you for bringing that to the table. And that's a good topic. Like I think we need to do another show talking about that because a lot of women and moms especially like dealing with hormones and
Yes.
and I like to talk about that the fourth trimester where a lot of
Yes.
new moms are taking care of babies and all these hormonal things, and
Yes.
so I think that's a really good topic that I'm going to have to bring you back and we talk about that one too. But yeah, those are great, and I would love to get, like, I tell my husband now, and I'm like, listen, I've done my best to get my daughter on a schedule so she
Mhm.
knows, like, we eat dinner at 6, bath at 7, bed at 8, because mama's got to get in the bed too. And
Uh-huh.
having that routine, that's another part of my Thrive system where I teach moms how to implement those routines,
Mhm.
because when kids have routines and the family has routines, we know what to expect, and it
Mhm.
can kind of help us along with getting that 8 hours of sleep if we're
Mhm.
doing a routine and a schedule to make sure that everyone gets the amount of sleep. So
Right,
thank
right.
God I don't have any problems in that area because my daughter goes to bed at 8 and I'm probably right after her at about 8:30.
And we know life happens sometimes, especially like with diabetes. And if you have a child with diabetes, sometimes everything can't go as scheduled. You
Yeah,
may have like a low blood sugar that,
yeah,
you may have a CGM and that alarm may go off or so. So we know, like you said, some practical things. So like we want, like, even with me, like with my patients, I, try to be realistic and, just kind of use practical things that we
yeah,
can incorporate so we can live healthier lifestyles,
yeah,
because sometimes I have patients come to me and they say, well, oh, my other provider or whoever told me I can't have anything that's white, I can't have any carbs. I'm like, no, that's not true.
yeah,
We need to
yes,
make sure we're enjoying our lives, doing
yes,
things that we like to do, and still eat foods like different people, different cultures. We want to make
yes,
sure, like, you still incorporating your culture in living well with diabetes. So that
yes.
goes back again to balancing mom life, taking care of yourself, still doing things that you like to do, but just incorporating things differently to make a healthier lifestyle.
Yes, I was just, you took the words out of my mouth. I was like, that goes back to the balance part because I think that diabetes, and I'm 30 years in now, and so
Mm,
diabetes is not about deprivation. It's not about you can't have anything, but it's more
yeah.
about moderation, like
Yes.
with everything else. And
Yes.
so
And learning.
I had some M&Ms before I got on here. you know, I don't eat them often, but when I want to have some, I allow myself. And I think going back to kind of what you were talking about at the beginning of the talk, that has a lot to do with my mental health and, with women in general. It's like if you live this lifestyle of, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that and I can't go here, it's all about limiting and
Mhm.
restricting instead of saying, well, what can I do? How can I do that? Facing the
Yes.
challenge of, if I want M&Ms, let me figure out a way where I can eat them and not just that's off
Mhm.
limits. And
Mhm.
what I found is that kind of mindset, it has shown its way in other ways, not just diabetes, but
Okay.
in life. If I'm having a challenge at work or something, I usually tend to say, well, this is something that's impossible. But now I take the approach of, okay, here's the challenge. Let me figure out how I can get past that challenge, right?
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
I think that's great. I love that.
And I really love this conversation that we're having.
I do
So,
too.
so you made me think of something else. Like, another thing, as far as with moms, we have our girlfriends, we have our associates, and so like the family members and our girlfriends and whatever need to know, like, if your friend has diabetes and you see them having these M&Ms, don't judge.
Oh my gosh.
I
Give me,
mean,
come on, give
people
me
with
a virtual
diabetes,
high five here because yeah,
people with diabetes have a lot to think about, a lot to manage, and so
yes,
you shouldn't be like, oh no, don't do that. You
exactly.
shouldn't be eating it. Like I have a family member that comes to see me. Um, and we went out to dinner one Sunday, it's probably about 2 Sundays ago. And she was just getting all those rolls. She's like, I know what I'm supposed to say. I was like, I'm not saying nothing. You are my aunt
Hmm.
today. Well, I should say, you are my family member today. Like, I'm not saying a word.
Yes.
You're fine.
That's a big like topic in these diabetes communities. It's like stop telling us what to eat. Like more often than not, a lot of people with diabetes wear devices, whether it be an insulin pump, a CGM, continuous
Mhm.
glucose monitor. More often than not, we know going into a situation, okay, here's what I'm going to eat. Here's how much insulin I'm going to have to take in order to
Yeah.
eat that. And we know that going in. And so the public's kind of perception about what diabetes looks like. I think that's why
Yeah.
these conversations are so important.
Yeah.
And, it frees up women like me who often are on the other end of that judgment. So I just, again, thank you for being an ally as somebody who gets
Yeah.
it because you'd be surprised people when I'm eating like just something super random, like drinking some tea. Are you supposed to have tea? And I'm just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. We
So
gotta
yeah.
we gotta move away from that stigma and
Yeah, yeah,
everything. So
yeah.
yeah,
But it,
definitely.
it, it has gotten better, I've noticed. Like over the years, as people become more educated and there's more
Mhm.
awareness around diabetes and what it looks like, especially type 1. I'm type 1, by the way.
Mhm.
But it's become, a little better, I will say, over the
Mhm.
years.
Mhm. Yeah.
But you're surprised back in the 90s, we couldn't do anything.
Mhm. Mhm. See that. Yeah, definitely. I see that.
But I just again want to thank you for not only the information that you shared, which I think is so valuable. I took some notes that I'm going to use for my own self too,
Yeah.
and just kind of um, ways that we as women with diabetes or without, or those that are managing their child's diabetes, just some
Mhm.
really practical, real life tips that we can take away.
Mhm.
So just to kind of summarize, we're almost at time, but just to
Okay.
kind of summarize, what would be your parting advice to the community at large?
Again, I guess just taking care of yourself, finding that time, whether you find, 5 minutes a day or so to do some type of meditation or prayer, if that's your religion or so, prayer, meditation, some type of de-stressing activity, even if it's like 5 minutes, you just set that time aside. Also, go ahead and just think of some type of hobby that you may enjoy. Again, that's going to help with stress level. And if it's a hobby that includes like physical activity, again, that's going to help to lower your blood sugar and lower your A1C, and just eating healthier. We're on the go constantly. Maybe do something far as doing meal planning. So you
Yeah,
can have your meals, you can grab things, especially if you know if it's going to be a busy day. Take
yeah,
like some low carb snacks or so. Drink,
yeah,
drink plenty of water. That's going to help as well. And then water helps us to feel better. And water helps you feel full. So you may tend to eat less anyway. And then
yeah.
also like if you have a favorite show, I like Real Housewives of Potomac. So on
Oh my gosh,
Sunday,
girl.
maybe in
No
front of the
judgment.
TV, maybe in front of the TV, do some type of physical activity during a commercial break or so.
Yeah.
Just get out and do something. But I would say make sure you're doing something to take care of yourself.
Yes.
And if you're a mom taking care of your kids with diabetes or your child with diabetes, do something to show them how proud you are of them. You
Yeah.
know, again, it can be stressful for you, stressful for them as well. So
Yeah.
just do something that you all can enjoy as a family to help lower your A1C as well.
Yes.
Enjoy those babies.
Yes, yes, I love that. One commodity we can't get back is time.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important, Nykkia, like you said, I will say it until I'm blue in the face, is to really, it's not selfish to take care of yourself. I love the example that you use on the airplane, how the flight attendant will tell you to put your own oxygen mask on
Yeah.
first before you can help somebody else. I think that's
Mhm.
so important. And sometimes we don't include the somebody else as our children, but it's really important that we take care of ourselves.
Right.
And so if you need help, if you kind of don't know where to start, you're a mom with diabetes and you're trying to figure this thing out for yourself, I would love to support you. Feel free to join our Facebook group. It's called the Thriving Diabetic Mom Community. Nykkia just became a member, and there's some other amazing women in the group who, just like us, we're all living with diabetes or caring for a child with diabetes, and we're just here to support each other. Nykkia, I know that Nykkia is in the Memphis area.
Yes.
Her clinic is Diabetes Care and Wellness.
Yes.
But where can someone find you on social media, or how can someone get in touch with you if they'd like to seek out your services?
So I am in the Mid-South, Memphis, Tennessee, West Memphis area. I practice diabetes care and wellness. It's 512 Graham, West Memphis, Arkansas. And social media, I think it's Diabetes Care and Wellness. And I also have a platform, the Diabetes Wellness NP, that's on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm on LinkedIn, I guess, as
Okay.
well. I really don't do the social media stuff like when somebody asks, I feel kind of like I'm somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, Diabetes Wellness NP on Instagram.
Well, we're going to link all your information in the show notes. So if someone is looking for you, they'll be able to find you. And again, I just want to thank you. This was an amazing episode. I know we talked about so much, even down to the hormones. We're going to do another show about that. So I'm going to have to bring you back for that.
Okay.
But
And just I'll be feeling better. Like I said,
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, definitely. You gotta feel better.
I'm a
This
little
is
cold.
listen, I think every mom right now is kind of getting something that their child brought home. So if you're not getting over it, you just got over it. So trust me, we're all there.
Yes.
Yes. But if you, like I said, like I mentioned, I'll put all of the Nykkia's contact information in the show notes. I'll also put a link if you'd like to be a part of the Thriving Diabetic Mom community. We'd love to have you. And on that note, we're going to sign off.
All right.
Any last words?
Continue to take care of yourself. You got
Amen.
this. You got it.
All right. Until next episode, guys, we'll see you later. We're going to peace out.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.